Hello everyone, welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler, and we're here after week 4, heading into week 5, and the Packers are 4-0, just what they were aiming for.
You media guys are all surprised. Come on.
Surprised, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't name 7 people on that defense if you're not a Packer fan. And you know you can't go 8 deep, and you're probably thumbing through your media guy like, who is Joe Thomas? Who is this Elliott kid?
Yeah, it is amazing how many people they're using on defense. But let's talk about 4-0. So, you know, you have a big build-up, and you say, we want a fast start, we want to be out 4-0. You do it, what's next? You know, so what do you do from here?
Well, normally when you're 4-0, history shows that you have a chance of going to the Super Bowl. Now, McCarthy's been 4-0 twice, but it didn't happen. So I think they learned from a fast start means that if you get a bump in the road game, it doesn't hurt you. So with that being said, playing teams that have beaten you in the past means something. It's kind of a notch on your belt when you're moving forward, because you got to stay at a certain high level mentally. I think McCarthy does a great job of that, but 2 guys I really want to point out who's doing a great coaching job, Tom Clemens and the guy that everybody wants fired, Dom Capers. They've been doing a good job of coaching each week, getting these guys with the right packages, and the guys are bought into it. And I think not only that, the organization with Edgar Bennett and these guys, they're coaching their tails off, and I think that has a lot to do with how these guys are so focused.
Yeah, they, you know, and the 49ers are a mess on offense, but they're not a bad defensive team, and they've got a good defensive coordinator, Eric Mangini, and they kind of survived that game. I think what we found was that Colin Kaepernick is really a absolute shadow of what he once was, and it was, as we'll show in the X's and O's, it was like taking candy from a baby, wasn't it?
It was really like defending a JV quarterback, especially if you're on the varsity. You would think that from getting destroyed against Arizona, that they would come in with a max protection plan to try to get the ball to Anquan Bolden, who was open at times. But when you see 5 guys coming at the quarterback, in the quarterback's mind, he sees 15 guys coming, it's hard to think.
Yeah.
But when it was his opportunity, Tom, to step up, go through his progression, and make a throw, he couldn't do it. So I think what most guys would do, Don Capers, on 4th and 5, which will show that in X's and O's, you blitz him. You blitz him. If he does some running around, that's not going to hurt you. What's going to hurt you is when he had 181 yards rushing, and he had like 250 passing.
Yeah.
So you can give up 50, 60 yards rushing for our quarterback.
Yeah.
That's not going to beat you, especially if he can't throw the ball and can't score a touchdown. So I think it was a genius game plan, but I think for the most part, they were way over their heads.
I think the feature of this game, from Capers' standpoint, was he put Clay Matthews on Kaepernick, pretty much like a man-on-man, like, you know.
Like a boxing one.
Like
he's your guy.
Sam Shields covering Calvin John, following him around.
Absolutely.
You know, he's like, this is who's going to shut you down. And, you know, that only works if you have guys like Jaron Elliott, Mike Neal, Mike Daniels, you know, Nick Perry, and guys like that playing, and Raji. Let's not forget Raji, too.
Yes.
Like, those guys are playing around you, right?
Yeah, and then Mike Daniels, you won't see him in the press, but he was wreaking havoc in there. And not only that, you get Guyon in there in rotation. All these guys are fresh. Pennell. They got a solid 5 guys in there with Dayton. So now you rotate these guys in, Tom, and they're fresh. Elliott comes in 3rd, 4th quarter, and he just can go play his game. For 4th consecutive week, this guy's made an impact play. And then you say, well, wait a minute. They shouldn't be playing this well because somebody said they can't rush the quarterback. And by the way, don't they have a problem at middle linebacker? Doesn't seem like it. For some reason, teams have not been able to exploit the weaknesses of this Packer defense, if they even have some. And to boot, Morgan Burnett's not even out there.
Yeah.
So you have to pick your poison.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, right now Clay Matthews is playing at a level that he's never played at, and he's doing it all over the field. So that's a big part of it. Now,
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers was doing that the first few weeks, and I think we finally saw a situation where he wasn't at his best, and part of it was because of the defense that was thrown at him. You know, Eric Mangini threw the kitchen sink at him, you know, cover 3, cover 2, blitzes, things like that. And he was a little bit off his game, don't you think?
Well, I think for the most part, you go from a 5-touchdown game to a 1-touchdown game. You got to be okay with that. But at the same time, go through your progression and make the throws to the open guy. He missed a couple throws. A lot of that's the pressure getting from his right tackle and his left tackle at times. And I think for the most part, the game plan changed. They kind of knew they was going to be in this muddied up game, low scoring, just be efficient, but it wasn't the MVP type performance that we're used to seeing. So that would make people say, listen, the recipe for Aaron Rodgers is to rush 4 and play coverage. Don't play a lot of man-to-man and don't blitz him a lot, because statistics will show if you blitz him, he's going to kill you. So I think moving forward, when teams start to break down how do you stop Aaron Rodgers, they're going to do that. But let's be crystal clear. I don't think there's a recipe to stop Aaron Rodgers.
There's probably not, no.
But this is
but there's ways to
that'll
slow
help.
him down.
Yeah, to slow them down if your offense can score. If your offense can't score, then they can do whatever they want.
And I think this all leads into an interesting matchup this week with St. Louis, which is tied with the Packers for second in the NFL with 17 sacks. And they bring the heat.
Yes.
You know, and now they can rush with their front 4.
Absolutely.
But as we saw in the Arizona game, they could bring the heat too. And you know, it's going to be interesting to see if Jeff Fisher is willing to send guys after Rodgers.
Well, Fisher does it in a way that you got to find the weakness in the best matchup, but he also gives you the illusion that I'm bringing 6, and he'll drop those guys out. So it's up to Aaron and Lindsley, the center, to understand when we need to slide protection, when we need to go to a bang it protection. That means block big on big, or we go max protection because we like our matchups outside. But when you don't have a lot of deep threat speed, teams just going to sit and squat.
Right.
So what you have to do is just mix it up with the run and the pass, go back to the screens. They didn't run a lot of them against San Francisco after Kansas City. They ran a bunch of them. Go back to that. Put these guys on the run. I think you'll get into what your offense would like to do, and now you'll get back to high volume passing.
And I'll bet the Rams are working on the hard count this week quite a bit, because Rodgers is going to do all he can to get them to show their defense.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Because when you're ready to go as a defensive end, I mean, I got this from Reggie White. It's hard because you know that watch the ball.
Right.
But when you hear the cadence from a quarterback, it's just like you're throwing a bait on a hook to a fish.
I know.
You know that bait is not real, but you still bite it.
But you go through training camp with those drills where the guys get the ball on the stick and he's.
But it's not Aaron's voice. It's the coaches or the interns' voices. That's different from the 318 that you hear from Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Because he'll do it 3 times sometimes before he asks for the ball. And as a defender, you're saying, okay, maybe 2, he'll reset. Did he do it again? And then you look at the play clock, it's down to 5, 6. Now he wants the ball. So if you're a defender, you base your disguises based on the clock. You don't disguise at all until 15 seconds. Then you move to where you really want to get at 10 seconds.
Did you ever look at, did you find tells from the offensive linemen when you were getting ready to blitz, whether about when the snap, could you find things where they would give up when the actual snap is?
You can see the tension in the center's arm when he's about to snap it. When he looks back, normally it's a pause. Then the quarterbacks used to lift their foot and you just take off a second after that. But you can see if the tackles are rocking back to see if it's passed. But then the linemen got smart. They were doing that all the time on screens and draws. So we said, I'll tell you what, we'll just base it on the clock. Because if the clock is never wrong, if you get sent to doing a hard count for 5 seconds to go, they're going to get a timeout or delay a game. So that's when we started our disguise. The first 10, 15 seconds, we're just moving around and let him guess what we're doing.
Okay.
It's kind of a chess game, but you kind of want to make it a chess.
Yeah.
I mean, checkers. I mean.
On the flip side, Rams have found a running back in
Yes.
Gurley, and
Yes.
this guy, is obviously a huge college player till he
Yes.
got hurt.
Yeah.
Through 4 games, they've done, other than Matt Forte, they had a rough day against Matt Forte, but then since
Yeah.
then, Marshawn Lynch, Jamal Charles, and Carlos Hyde, they've shut
Right.
them down.
Yeah.
Is that their focus this week, even though the Rams have this Tavon Austin who can really run?
They've played Nick Foles before. They know what he's capable of doing. Very mobile quarterback, got a pretty good arm. But they also understand that if you take away something and make Nick Foles beat you, you feel good about that. You can get to what you're good at, going after the quarterback.
Right.
So they're going to stack the line, and obviously they're going to put a guy to watch, Austin. I mean, that guy is so quick. But for the most part, they love their matchups at tight end and wide receivers. So they'll play a lot of man-to-man and try to stop Gurley and move forward. So the plan will be different than what you've seen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they want to stop the run, force them to pass, so you can get your pass rushers in there.
It would be a good week for them to get both Morgan Burnett and Brian Balaga back, but we'll
That'd
see.
be good.
We don't know that
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
certainty, but
Yeah,
there's a chance.
real quick, I'd probably, with Balaga, I'd hold him as close to the bye week as possible. Because I know you have some problems right now, some pressure with Barclays, but you can chip a little bit before you go out with tight ends and backs to buy you some time, because I don't want to rush him back in that knee. He's having problems with it. Morgan Burnett, you can kind of coast with him too. So
I kind of have the opposite feeling. I feel like Balaga could go ahead and play him. He's going to be okay. He can put a brace on. Burnett, you got to watch out with that calf. Those calf injuries are.
Yeah, we'll see when Rodgers had his calf injury.
They take a long time.
Yeah.
Same with Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
You got to sit him through the bye. Don't
Yes,
you?
I agree with that as well.
Okay.
So there you go, MacArthur. We figured it out for you.
Yep. So
as we always know,
listen to the doctor's office of Butler and Silverstein. We'll never do you wrong.
Nope.
Thanks for joining us for another week of 5 questions, and don't forget to check in with X's and O's.
Yes.